We're making the layered cake square, and I named it that because I think it kind of looks like the top view of a layered cake. We are going to change around the order of the colors that we're using for the square in the video, but it is the same pattern. To begin, I have a J crochet hook and worsted weight yarn. Of course, you can do this with any yarn and hook combination that works for you. It does not have to be worsted weight. Now I'm going to chain 4, then slip stitch into the first chain that I made in order to form a ring. Now here's where we have two options. We can chain 5, and this will count as the first double crochet and the chain 2, or we can make a double chain 2. The double chain 2 is made by inserting our hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, and there are now 2 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. You've essentially made a single crochet at this point, and you see how there are 2 vertical stitches, or almost like little legs, coming up right here and here. You're going to insert your hook into the farthest away leg from your hook. So insert your hook into the farthest vertical stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now we're back to having 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and that makes our double chain 2. That double chain 2 counts as our first double crochet, so now we just make the chain 2, and there you go, the double crochet, which is made by the double chain 2 and the chain 2. And then we continue the round, making 4 double crochet into the ring, and then a chain 2, and then we repeat that 2 more times. Now that we've done the 4 double crochet and the chain 2 a total of 3 times, we're going to place 3 more double crochet into this ring, and then we're going to join our round, and you do that by either slip stitching into the 3rd of the chain 5 of the 5 chains of the beginning chain 5, or you just, if you made the double chain 2, slip stitch to the top of that double chain 2, and then you slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and now you're ready to begin round 2. Round 2, chain 5. Again, this is going to count as the first double crochet and the chain 2, and now put 2 double crochet into the chain 2 space. Then double crochet in each of these stitches across, so there's 4 stitches here that I'm going to double crochet into. Now 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the chain 2 space. We're going to keep doing this all the way around. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each of the chain 2 spaces, and double crochet in each of the double crochets. We're on our final side. We're double crocheting in each of these double crochets. There were 4 of those double crochets that we're working into now, and then we're going to hit that chain 2 space. Okay, now we're at the chain 2 space. We're just going to put 1 double crochet in there because this chain counts as our other double crochet, and then we're slip stitching into the chain in order to join this round. There we go, and then slip stitch into the chain 2 space. There we are, and now we're going to repeat round 2. When we did round 2, we ended up with 8 stitches on each side and chain 2s on each corner. When we repeat this, we're going to end up with 12 stitches on each side and chain 2 in each corner. So repeat round 2 again to make round 3. Double crocheting into the last double crochet of this round. Then I need to put 1 more double crochet into the chain 2 corner, and I need to join my round by slip stitching into a chain. There we go, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and now we are on to round 4. Round 4, we're going to chain 1. Now we're making a twisted single crochet into the chain 2 space. A twisted single crochet starts the same as a regular single crochet. So you insert your hook into the stitch, or in this case into the chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now you have 2 loops on your hook. Now this is where it varies. You're going to twist the hook away from yourself in a complete circle. There we go. Now you complete the single crochet. Yarn over, pull through both loops. This can be a little difficult, okay, because it's kind of tight there. There we go. If you have a really tight gauge, you're going to have a problem. Let me show you how to make this easier if you're finding that it's too tight to pull through. So let's make the next one. Insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now here is where you want to adjust if you're finding that everything is too tight. You can kind of finesse your hook to pull up your loops, make them a little bit longer. The loops for a twisted single crochet need to be longer than the loops for a regular single crochet. Okay, you see how I've made them kind of longer? Now I'm going to twist my hook around. I pushed it away from myself and around all the way in a circle. Yarn over, pull through. I'll show you that again because we're putting a twisted single crochet into every stitch and 2 into every chain 2 spaces. We're not doing any chains. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, finesse that to make your loops a little longer, twist the hook away from yourself and around into a complete circle, yarn over, pull through everything, and just keep on going. I have gotten to the chain 2 space. All I'm going to do is make 2 more twisted single crochet into the chain 2 space in the same manner as I did before. I'm putting my hook in the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, make sure it's nice and loose, twist away from myself in a full circle, yarn over, pull through. Oops. Try not to lose your yarn off your hook. There we go. And then repeat into the chain 2 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, twist away from myself, yarn over, pull through everything. And I'm just going to keep going all the way around, and I will meet you back when I get back to the original chain 2 space. I've made it back to the original chain 2 space, and I need to place 1 more twisted single crochet in that chain 2 space. Now you can just slip stitch into the first twisted single crochet, just kind of shove on in there and slip stitch and fasten off. Let me show you a much more invisible join for this. I'm going to start by cutting my yarn nice and long. I always like to work with a nice long yarn tail. And then I need a yarn needle. All right, I just pulled that loop until the tail came out. So this is now fastened off. It's not going to go anywhere, but of course it's not looking very pretty either, right? There we are. We thread our yarn needle. And now what I do is I turn this around, so I'm looking at the back, and you see these 2 little loops that are going over top of my stitch. I'm inserting my needle under those 2 little loops, and then I'm just going to kind of bury it inside a few of these stitches. So I'm just now going to pull this through. Now what I do is I usually pull it through kind of tight. I want these 2 pieces to butt up against each other, but then I kind of hold these 2 how I want them and loosen things up a bit. I want the seam to hide between these 2 stitches, but I don't want to accidentally yank everything together. Now that I've done that, I'm just going to insert my needle again in a little bit of a different spot so that I'm not actually going to pull my yarn right out. And I'm running the needle once more through the center. See, I can't see the needle on either side, so through the center of all those stitches. And I am using a sharp needle so that it will actually cut through some of the yarn that's inside of here, which will make it weave in even better and just have a stronger join. And then I usually pull the end a little bit just to make sure it will hide before I cut it. Okay, give it another jiggle, and there we are. And now I'm going to weave in the starting end with this square, I like to leave my starting ring open because it kind of works nicely with all of these other little openings, right? I like having the look of that little opening there. So I'm going to be careful when I weave in my ends not to pull this too tightly. So since I'm not pulling it tight, I'm not actually going to weave this in all the way around, which is what I would do if I were trying to close that hole. I'm just going in about a third of the way around in the same direction that I started in. And now I'm going to move my needle over one stitch and go back in the opposite direction. Not quite the same, not quite as far as I started. Okay, that way I catch this little piece of yarn right here and I don't pull my yarn, I don't pull my tail back through the same channel and undo my weaving in, right? And then again, I gently pull this and just make sure everything is where I want it to be. Clip the end. And there we have the first little section of our layered cake square.